Good morning, everyone.
Hopefully everybody's having a good day. It's Thursday, I think. Yeah, Thursday. Thursday, March 9th.
I didn't get a hold of Amy yesterday, dang it.
You didn't?
No, I'm a bad sister.
I talked to her for a minute. Yeah, for a minute.
Well, that's good.
So.
I should have told you to tell her hi for me. Oh, that's awful. I'll probably just wait until my day's off, and she knows we're busy people.
I know. I know she does. I know she knows. Oh, let's see here.
Yeah.
My famous saying.
Let's see here.
Hopefully everybody is having a great morning and getting stuff done. Good morning, Shauna. Good morning, Blackberry Thistle Tea.
And Shauna.
Yeah, we got today, but we probably have a little bit of a different view on the back area.
Looks
Hope
good.
I'm not making busy. Blair Witch. I move my desk around and just tried to figure out a little better way to organize things. And it wasn't really bad before, but my mannequin was over here in the corner and it was so dark that my pictures were dark. So I wanted to get her close to a window so I could get some of that, daylight light. So that was the goal.
That's a good idea. So. Yeah, I have my picture taking table over by a window, but it's covered right now. But once I uncover it, it might be better. I'm not sure if it would be better or not.
Fine.
Because sometimes light is... Sometimes it's not good for too much light.
Well, I guess it just depends on how what is it, glaring light, or is it
Yeah, it's not going to be glaring, so maybe it'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll just have to try it and see what happens. Yeah. Good morning, Angela. Welcome to our channel. Good to see you here. Thanks for joining us. Nikki, I sent you an invite, so let me know if you need me to send you another one. So I have been up since, I think I got up at 5. I got my packages shipped. I got 3 things live and listed and live.
Already this morning? Woohoo.
Already. I'm ready to roll. Ready to get my 33.
Get it.
I'm going to get it.
I didn't do crap yesterday.
You worked.
Well, yes. I worked my other job, but I didn't do nothing with eBay.
Well,
I need to get some listings made today and take some pictures.
That's what you got to do.
That's the goal.
That's what but you got an early day today, so you got to get you got to get to bed soon too.
Yes. By at least 11.
So I think that works out good. You know, yesterday we kind of let the show run over. Um, I think it was around 11 when we ended it, but I think it works out pretty good. You know,
Yeah.
wrap up at 10 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
That way people can, you know, get their stuff done, and it actually helps me because, you know, it's early enough where I can get stuff done and pictures taken, and so meet my 11 goal.
Yeah.
So
So today, are you going to try and get your 33, or are you going to just try and get your 11 done and then maybe 11 when you get back, or?
yeah, I'm going to try and get, well, I probably won't leave until noon. And I think I'll try and get in as many, at least 11, but whatever I can get besides that. You know,
Yeah, that's good.
I've got about 30 things already drafted. So all I have to do is take pictures.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I'll just start taking pictures and of whatever I can. Let's see, what state are you ladies from? I'm from Syracuse, New York.
Well, howdy from New York. Or howdy from Michigan, I mean. Sorry, I'm not awake. I am not in New York. I'm in Michigan.
What'd she say?
I don't even know where the hell I'm at anymore.
So Sally's from Michigan. I'm from Kansas.
We're both originally from California.
Absolutely. We are both California girls. But we live in different states now. And we all kind of moved apart, and Sally's the oldest.
Valerie's the liar. She's the liar of the family.
I can throw that in there.
Yeah, since you don't know me, Sally's the oldest. You're brat.
I know. I gotta try when I can.
I know.
Good morning, Michelle.
There's not many people that would believe you.
I have a whole community out there that would believe me.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. They don't really know me. They know me a little bit, but they don't know me like you do.
Mm-hmm.
I made my little protein shake. For this.
That's good. What are you using for protein?
Milk.
That's not protein. Milk is a fat and dairy.
It's a protein. It has protein in it.
Might as well just go get you a bowl of cereal.
Huh?
I said you might as well just go get you a bowl of cereal. Be done with it.
I got this powder stuff. This powder stuff I put in it, and it's a
like Slim Fast kind of.
Well, kind of. It's like a whey protein. They get it at Walmart. But I like to, if I don't have a chance to eat cereal or eat breakfast or anything, I like to drink that, and that kind of, takes that craving or that hunger pains away.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it just takes too long to sit down and have a bowl of cereal. So, or fix eggs or whatever.
I managed today. while I was sitting on my ass watching shows instead of getting my
Uh,
shit done.
well, I'm kind of glad that I finished Scandal, so I don't have any current shows that I'm watching. Nothing looks good, so.
Yeah. Next season it's already getting good.
Is it?
I'm on the 4th episode. Oh my god. Like, I don't even know what's gonna happen. It's crazy. I've been working on this freaking for like 10 minutes already.
You've been working on what?
On this post trying to get the link into Alabama Pickers group, and I've been like talking back and forth, and I keep forgetting what I'm doing.
Well,
Okay, that one's done.
Nikki, it's what is it called? This Is Us.
Oh, it's so good. It's a good show.
That's what I think. That's what Julie said. She said that was a good. It was a good.
Yeah, I really like it.
So I need to put. That's what I need to do today. I need to put our challenge in the.
Yeah.
In the.
Did you think of anything yet?
Well, yeah, we did something. We decided on something.
Yeah. Did you find anything that goes together yet?
I've got a couple of ideas.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, I had an idea yesterday, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that. I was thinking like um a candle warmer and a copy of Taste of Home or whatever it's called magazine or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something something that doesn't really go together, but
Right.
see how it goes.
I was thinking, and this probably is really dumb, but I was thinking a trucker's hat with a Pleiades exercise thing.
Here's what I was thinking, and I might do this one actually. Goes together, so it doesn't really. I know I'm gonna have to think of something else, but what I was thinking was a trucker's hat because I have one that has a bass fish on it. This game controller that looks like a fishing pole.
Hey.
It's got a place for your phone so that you can play games like apps on your phone.
Oh.
And so you put your phone right in the controller, and it looks like a fishing pole.
Huh.
But I was thinking about those two things together, but they kind of go together, so it's not really a challenge, you know?
I think it's going to be interesting what everybody
Yeah, it
comes up
is.
with.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still thinking. Mine's got to be pretty good. I'm gonna think something good. I just keep looking around because there's all kinds of stuff. I just keep looking around. What can
Here
I
to get
think of?
ideas and yep.
Mm, like
Mr.
I have a package.
Silver Stacker says, "Good morning, royalty of returns."
Royalty of returns. I don't want to be royalty of returns. I had
No.
enough. I had like 4 or 5 within the last couple of weeks. It's been
Wow.
really bad lately.
Huh.
Yeah.
I would rather
Yeah,
be
and I'm just like,
the peasant of sales.
yeah, me too. Yeah.
I've heard that right now there's been a lot of returns. A lot of people have that.
I don't know what it is, but it was like a mug got broke. I sucked it listing and did a fail because I put in the wrong model number. It had to be something when I was tired or something. And so I put like a M or a M instead of a P or a P instead of an M or something like that. And obviously there was both of those model numbers, oddly enough. Like there was one that started with a P and then one was started with an M.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what are the freaking odds of that? The dang remote's got the model number right on it. So it's not like, but I think I know what happened was I probably copied a listing.
Yeah.
And I didn't change it.
See, that's the
my
thing. That's
fault.
the thing that kind of scares me about, listings same similar, because if you get caught up doing something else, you were doing your listing, you get caught up doing something else, and you come in and you just go on, and you don't fix what you need to fix. That could be disastrous. I mean, so I understand. Nikki, I keep sending you invites, so I don't know what's going on. I'll try it again.
Hi, Eric.
Morning.
And today,
All right. How's everybody else doing?
I'm pretty good, thanks.
Wonderful.
Well, you get laid?
Yeah, she's way more cheerier than that when she gets laid.
Good to know. Good to know.
Like
Oh my
ecstatic.
God. I'm turning
You
red.
made her blush. It takes a lot more than that to make me blush.
Let's see.
Trucker hat and a can of PBR. There you go.
Trucker hat and a can of PBR.
It's over here, Stackers. Huh?
What was that all about?
What's that?
Trucker hat and a PBR?
Oh, our challenge.
Ah, okay.
Because we were talking about putting stuff together that doesn't go together.
It'll be interesting, no doubt.
Stacker says, tell Eric I said hi. He never talks to us in the side chat.
No, I don't have the chat up. That's why.
Probably why.
I run the Hangout on 2 different computers. I have my working computer, then I have the Hangout computer. And so when I'm working over here, I have the Hangouts or on airs or anything like that. So I have it set up there because my computer's not strong enough to run them both at the same time.
Oh.
Because I'm too cheap to upgrade. And so I don't run the chat on one and the other one because it just gets too confusing.
Yeah.
Too distracting.
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of
I
hard
just have it all up on one screen. I'm even watching a giraffe, and I have my eBay page. I have 4 different screens up right now.
You are crazy.
Not 4 different screens, but 4 like
Windows.
I have one screen, but 4 different windows. I have the Hangout window, the YouTube window, the eBay window, and giraffe window.
I think that giraffe already had her baby.
No, she did not. She's huge.
I think she already had it. And they just want to see how many people they can get on there.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well,
Not only do I not care if the draft gives birth or not, I really don't care to see it. I mean, I understand the fascination.
I
of
don't want to
watching
miss
the
it.
giraffe walk around.
It's just a thing of
It's a
she'll
time
be
suck.
standing there. She'll be standing there, like ass. You see her ass first, and she's got this huge belly, and you see that baby move, and her whole stomach goes, just all at once. It's pretty amazing. Nikki says, Val, can you try again? There's 76,543 people watching that page right now.
I know it's
Not
been
me.
shared to my Facebook page a lot of times. So
Yeah. I don't share it or anything.
I watched it for a minute, but I was like, I cannot just sit here and watch this.
Well, I mean, I'm not just sitting there and watching. It's just up. That way, if
what's the definition of watching in your book? I'm just curious. I mean, to me, if something's up on my screen and it's playing all the time, I'm kind of forced to watch it,
Yeah.
no, I mean, you like glance over there every few minutes. I mean,
that's called watching.
Yes, it is.
I'm not.
When I have music playing in the background, it's called listening. It's kind of the same concept,
Not the same.
Okay.
It is. It's not. I promise you.
Okay.
You say so.
Because I'm looking at you right now. I'm not looking at the giraffe.
Mm-hmm. But you're only looking at a quarter size of me as opposed
she's
to
got one eye that's looking at you, one eye that's looking at the giraffe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
When you have the screen up, I can't tell that you're looking at me because you're just looking like here. You can be like over here, over here. You can tell when I'm looking at you, my head's turned a little sideways, so I'm looking at my other screen. So,
Yeah.
if I'm looking directly at the camera, it means I'm working on something on this computer. So.
Right. So,
Got some cool blankets last night.
you did what?
I went to an auction last night, a little local auction that's near me. Just kind of got bored sitting around the house all day. So I went out and bought a Hudson Bay 4-point.
Oh, yeah.
Paid $20 for it. It should sell for probably around $100.
Yeah.
What kind of material is that?
It's wool.
Oh.
1960s Pendleton throw. Find the tag. It's in here somewhere.
Nice.
Very good.
I paid $20 for that. That should sell for between 50 and 60. Pendleton's a little saturated. This one is it's called a tag is almost off. A Kenwood Norway blanket. And I had not seen it before. I never had that one before. I've had the other ones before.
Yeah.
And I paid $5 for that one, and it should also sell for right around $60. I bought a handmade quilt I paid $17 for. And it's all hand stitched, and I have no idea what that'll bring. Brings whatever it brings. I got a little.
I have a couple of those, but they have like they have places where they're ripped. But I know that there's some people that will.
Yeah, that's the quilt.
Yeah, there's some.
Oh, that's nice.
That's really pretty.
It is, and I stepped up on it a little bit. I didn't really want to pay that much because there are, it's got a few little flaws, like it's missing a leaf right there. But
Hmm.
it's one thing is didn't smell musky, which is kind of rare in a quilt. But it's all handmade. You can look at the
Yeah.
stitching and tell the stitching is none of it is even. That you can see where they were following a pattern, but they were shaky when they were doing it. It's probably 60, 70 years old. It's not super, super old, but yeah, I think it's probably worth $100. I mean, I usually, when I get handmade quilts, I usually get about $100 for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got this little pen,
Oh, cool. What is
little
That is,
what is it?
pen, and patent date on the back is March 7th of 1896. And you see these as giveaways. You see this exact pen on eBay, but it has like a name underneath it that was part of a giveaway, advertising giveaway, and this one doesn't have that on it. I don't really know what it's going to bring, but those are bringing $20 to $25. And I have this.
Awesome.
It was sold as a makeup purse, or not a makeup purse. I'm sorry, as a change purse. It's a little mesh bottom,
Hmm.
top. But doing some research on it, and they sold these two together. It's actually got a mirror in it. It
oh,
Oh
actually
cool.
yeah.
has powder right here. It's a powder compact
Yeah.
is what it is.
I
Um,
remember seeing those when I was a kid.
so I paid
Um,
$9 for both of those together, and I'm thinking I can probably get $20 a piece. So turn 9 into 40 is fine.
yeah, I remember seeing those when I was a kid and seeing them, they'd have powder and the powder puff with it, you
Yeah.
know.
So and the only other thing I got was this. It's a Reed and Barton number 105. It's a plate bowl, but I bought it because it has the enamel finish. Now, the problem is I got there late, so I didn't get a really good chance. I only paid $2 for it, but it's got some dings and nicks in it. It's not the greatest shape. This would normally sell for $50 or $60, but I think it's condition's going to hurt it. So it's probably I'm going to put it up and try to get 25 out of it.
Mm,
But I spent $75 total. So in the end, I
that's
mean,
not
one
too bad.
blanket pays for everything.
Yeah.
But I just want to get out of the house. There was a lot of
Right.
Danish modern stuff at this auction, and it still went crazy pricing. I had a Dansk ice bucket, was beautiful, but they paid like $90 for it. And I looked on eBay, and you can buy them for $40. And
Yeah.
a Danish modern mushroom lamp that was really cool, sold for $180. And then those TV lights like the Jaguar, they're real long. Everybody's seen them. That one sold for like $70.
Hmm.
Starburst clock sold for $110.
Mm,
They had some mid 70s sculptures that were bringing just silly money. I mean, it's just some furniture that brought stupid money that was in horrible condition. So I went there to buy some of the modern stuff, but you still can't get it at a decent enough price, and they were overpaying.
right.
And I went there.
So there was a lot of people there then.
Not really. I was shocked. This is the first time I've been there where it was actually a manageable crowd. But I went there to buy one thing. It was a 15-drawer cabinet. The drawers were about that wide. They were about that high, and it stood high. It was a watchmaker's cabinet, and it's for installing crystals on the watches. And there's a little lever you would step on, and it would impress the cabinet, and it had different tools for different size watches. And mainly I went there because every drawer was absolutely packed full of crystals.
Oh
And
wow.
they don't bring a lot of money. If you got the time, Dusty and I were sitting down and we figured you could probably get about $5 a piece for the crystals. And there was probably 400 crystals, 500 crystals. So, I mean, it would have been worthwhile, but I mean, it would have been a long time selling. You'd have been selling crystals for the next 10 years. The cabinet itself was not in the greatest shape. It was metal. It had that really browny hammered finish on it. It wasn't in good condition, so it kind of needed to be redone. It did work. Everything. It was really kind of cool, but You know, I said in my mind, I was thinking, you know, it's probably if I sell things in lots, I might be able to make $500 or $600 off the whole thing. If I like did lots of 30 on the crystal or something along those lines, and it sold for $270. And
Wow.
I was the backup. I bid it up to 250, and I was done at that point. And somebody else jumped in at 260, and then somebody else got it for 270. And there was still money to be made there, but the pain in the ass factor of I would have had to start selling individual crystals, and it would have taken a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got enough small little stuff that I've got thousands of. I don't need to be messing with watch crystals again. You know, so you know when I've got
So they were little crystals like that you would put in a watch.
like pocket watch and regular wristwatch crystals, not the jewels, but the crystals,
Oh.
like your watch crystal.
Mm.
And so
I
I
don't
mean,
know if I know what those look like.
it's just a little. You have a pocket watch or a watch at all? Like I have a watch handy, but I usually do. Here we are.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen one of those.
This is a regular watch, right? You know what a watch looks like, right?
Okay,
the crystal is just that glass covering over the top of it.
Oh, okay.
And you pop those off, and most time you pull the watch out of you pull the back off, pull the works out, and then you can pop that off. Well, that's press fit in there, and this tool would actually sit there and then reinstall those crystals because these get scratched up and all that type of stuff. So a lot of people replace them.
Oh, I see.
So it was hundreds of those.
Yeah, you're saying crystal, and I'm thinking like jewels.
Yeah. You're thinking the little rubies or emeralds or whatever's in the watches that the work's right on.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's only so much stuff that you can actually get around the listing, and I've just starting to get back into slides because I've got so many slides. I got all those pictures I got to list, so it's just taking the time to do it.
You have a lot to do already.
Yeah, I didn't need to go out last night. I mean, I've got more than enough to list, but I haven't bought anything since I bought that last lot, which has been a week and a half, 2 weeks at least, more like 2.5 weeks. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get out a little bit as well. So it's more of a just kind of me getting out of the house because I'm going stir crazy. I go to the post office every day, but other than that, that's about it.
I understand. You got to get out and get some sunshine or fresh air or both.
A decent day out. It was 60-some degrees out. Wind was blowing, but other than that, it was fine.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 68 here today.
Supposed to be nice today, and then maybe an inch of snow tomorrow.
Yeah. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you guys are having beautiful weather. At least somebody is.
Well, we have addressed that issue by not living in the acid of nowhere, so.
I feel like I'm in the middle of freaking winter still.
Siberia?
It's so freaking cold here.
And yet you choose to live there.
Yeah, well, that's going to change one day.
Soon, I hope.
I hope so too.
If you move 500 miles south, you'd still get winter. I mean, that's the sad thing.
I know. It's going to have to be a drastic change.
Where would you move, Sally?
I have no clue. That's the thing. I think it would have to be an RV, just circling the United States. Go up north in the winter time, or not in the winter time, in the summertime, and then down south in the winter.
Well, you can buy a place to live down in Florida for about $8,000.
Yeah,
Really would be good for the wintertime.
that's true.
Thanks everyone for joining. I hope everybody's having a great day.
You sell anything from that stuff that you just got?
I've been selling some doll furniture. I sold some silverware.
You know what? Speaking of doll furniture, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
All right.
After you and Dusty found the doll furniture in your stuff,
Yep.
I went to where I normally get my inventory,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't find the same kind of furniture, but I found a shit ton of plastic doll furniture. Seriously, it's Barbie. It's Barbie brand.
Yeah. It'll sell
It's
too.
freaking plastic, but it's the refrigerator and all that stuff. I was like, what are the chances of that?
Well, what's funny, I mean, you want to hear a hilarious story. I get this offer. I've got this little buffet thing. It's this big. It's a little mid-century looking thing. I think I showed it on the video that we
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
So I get an offer yesterday, and I've got it up for like $47. There's some slight damage to the top that could be repaired pretty easily, but it's worth a little bit more than that if it was in great condition, because it's one of the rare pieces. And so I take this, I get this offer, and lady offers me $30. I'm like, what the hell? I'll take it. I don't care. It's free. It's $277 to ship it. It's not a big deal.
Right.
So I accept the offer, and probably 10 minutes later, I get a cancellation request. I'm like, that's odd. So I open the request, and the lady was from Montana. Okay. I live in Ohio. She sends me the request going, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was doll furniture. I thought this was a full-size piece.
Oh, no.
I'm like,
oh my God.
who in the world thinks that you're going to buy a mid-century buffet for $30 with free shipping from Ohio to Montana? I was just like, okay, I'm going to.
Oh my God. That is hilarious.
Yeah, I'm just like, that's.
Sometimes I think I'm like a little bit of an airhead, or kind of dense, but I'm not that stupid.
I mean, I'm glad my pictures made it look like it was a full-size piece, but I mean, it's like,
That's awesome. You should set up a whole little background to it. Put a backdrop, like a house backdrop to it. That would be really cool.
well, I do stuff like that when I'm selling like board games and things like that. I'll set the whole game up and put it out there so it looks like somebody's playing the game.
Yeah.
I feel that really sells the board games a lot faster. And every board game I get that I actually do like that, I sell it within a day or two. Just the visual, it puts people in the mind that, wow, I can play that game.
Yeah.
But I don't buy board games very often. So, the last board game I sold was a Trump game. So that tells you, and I did that when he was in the middle of the election because I didn't want to miss that window because I didn't think he was going to win.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny because I was going through my backlog of clothing, and I pull out a Trump shirt and a Ivanka Trump dress, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I bought these things. Well, I guess I got 4 years to sell them, so I'm good there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so yeah, it was just the weirdest.
That's pretty funny though.
I mean, you just wonder about people. I mean, do you not read it says Mattel Barbie furniture in the title. I mean, that's
She probably just seen you
sell the
know,
picture.
furniture.
I mean, it kind of proves the fact that the picture sells the listing, not necessarily your title or anything. The title helps, but your pictures are what
Obviously,
sells.
she didn't look at it.
People
Yeah, if you
don't
take
read.
crap pictures, you're never going to sell anything. I mean,
People don't read. I mean, they look at pictures. They
well, the
associate with.
mobile app doesn't encourage reading the description. I mean, because you got to click in the mobile app to get to the item description, so that doesn't really help matters any.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh, but yeah, if you're not good at picture taking, hire somebody to take your pictures. I mean, or my eyes are awful, but I look at all my pictures before I even. I don't modify my pictures at all. I just take the pictures and they pop up on a screen. But I make sure I've got good pictures. Otherwise, I just your sales aren't going to be there for you. And my sales started getting a lot better when I changed out my whole system. When I bought a light kit first, and then I bought a light boxes after I bought the umbrella kit. Just kept a white sheet for my background. Then I bought umbrellas with a different background, and then I finally upgraded to light boxes, which is actually the best, in my opinion. So
Yeah. Banana asked Eric, "Do you pallet that doll furniture?"
yeah, I could have built a little pallet about so big. So Banana to get off his butt and get in here.
That was,
He's at his computer. He can turn on the camera. He's got cameras on both computers he has. So
No excuses. Come on, Jason.
that's a crack.
Get on in here.
He's gonna be pissed.
what?
She buys these mugs. They're really
Right.
cool. I've talked about them before, and
Yeah.
I noticed this one's got a crack running all the way through it,
Oh
Uh-oh.
wow.
all the way through.
Huh.
Yep, I'm gonna have to let her know that that's not gonna be a drinking mug after today.
Yeah.
That's a shame, but that's one of her favorites too.
I found this the other day.
That's pretty cool.
Is it Japan?
Yeah.
It's not worth a whole lot.
Oh, probably not.
Yeah, unfortunately, Japan in the 50s and 60s copied the German Steins. Yeah,
Look
which
at that
yeah, which,
handle though.
yeah, I mean they do good work. They're not as heavy as a German
No,
Stein.
not
So
at all.
it's like they took their porcelain makers and stuff, and then they turned them into German Stein, and they're just not very well thought of out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean
I mean,
the art is really nice.
yeah, they do
It's
good
pretty
work.
detailed actually, but it's not heavy at all.
No,
Yeah.
I mean I've got a couple of nice German Steins that I have in my store, but you know, dating Steins is a pain in the ass. There's really only a couple of really good makers out there that people are collectors of. Metlac is probably the one that most people are familiar with. And I tried to buy them, and I just Stein collectors are crazy. They will spend stupid amounts of money to get Steins, which is really good for us if you can find them.
Yeah.
You can get them at a good price, but trying to buy one for resale is almost impossible if you're at like an auction or something like that. Because it's the nice thing is most of the older Steins are in the books. People know what they're worth. I was at an auction that the guy had nothing but Metlac Steins, and not a single Stein sold for less than $400.
Wow.
Yeah, they were crazy pricing. And I tried to buy one just recently. It was worth about 450, and I dropped out at 2.25. And I think it sold for right around 270 or something like that. So it actually was a decent price, but not for resale. I wanted it
Yeah.
for like $6 because that's where I was winning it all the way to the very, to like an hour beforehand. And then it was started going nuts.
Right.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. I love that stuff. And I went to Germany and I brought home a couple of Steins, and I won't sell those, but I was not into reselling at that point. I'd gotten completely out of it, so I wasn't thinking of I could buy some stuff here, hold on to it for a while, or even bring it back. I mean, I brought back some nice stuff that I gave to my family, but Never, I didn't bring back anything for resale. I probably should have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was
Yeah.
paying $100 a suitcase for every suitcase over what my one allotted. So I mean, I filled a suitcase full of souvenirs and spent $100 to bring it back.
Time to go back to Germany.
Yeah, that was pre 9/11, so I don't even. I was in 2001, but it was in early 2001. So
Yeah.
my stepson's going to be stationed in Europe, so maybe I can convince him to send me some stuff or something. So
There you go.
Yeah.
when he gets over there, not real sure where he's going.
Is he in the Army or Marines?
He's in the Army. He's in the 82nd Airborne. Although I think he's transferring to the 116. I don't really know Army stuff. I grew up in the Air Force, but he's transferring to a different airborne group out of the 82nd into a different airborne. And the last I heard was he was going to be going to Italy. But that is always subject to change.
Sure.
And he kind of wants to go there, but yeah, I'm hoping he comes home with a hot Italian wife or something. I don't know, but he just wants to travel. That's one of his ways in the Army. So, and he's been in over 2 years. He's been to Germany several times, doing training with them, jumping and things like that. But yeah, it hasn't been stationed anywhere besides Fort Bragg. So, and he's in their signals corps, so he does computers and stuff like that.
I just looked up Stein with the price plus shipping highest first.
You looked at Metlax.
Anheuser-Busch, Budweiser, Stein, dated 1894, Adolphus Busch Image Rare, $1,950.
Is that a sold?
Yeah.
Yeah. You cross collect there. You got Stein collectors, you got beer collectors, and you got Metlax collectors. I mean that's like hitting the home run of Steins there.
Wow.
And there's mice in there. I mean, there's a couple other Stein makers out there that are just as good, but Metlax is the one that if you see that, you know it's going to be good. And they made Steins for a long time, but they're still all good collectible Steins.
Where do they put the Metlax, on the bottom?
Yeah, it's on the bottom.
Okay.
And it changed over the years depending on what years they are. So you can, you look up Stein collector marks. You just look on the internet and find them, and you can see how it changes over the years. And really, Steins, anything pre-1800 or pre-1900 is fantastic in Steins. You really can't go wrong with that.
I have to keep an eye out.
I got like 40 of those. I think they were.
The States will be a good place to find those, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is people know. I mean, they know Metlax. I mean, that's all you have to do is if you know Metlax, you know it's going to be a valuable Stein. And it's kind of weird. I mean, you see a lot of Hummels out there. And Hummels were a big Germany thing, and people brought those back initially. Initially, you could only get them if you were in Germany and things like that. So, like the older Hummels are still bring decent value, but the newer Hummels you can get anywhere. I mean, they're just not near as collectible.
Right.
But people didn't bring home Steins like they brought home Hummels. And so a lot of this, I mean, there's not as much of a market for them back then, I guess, or people just didn't want to bring them home. And so now it's hard to find them.
Yeah.
But it's fine. I mean, Stein's, like I said, there's the Busch, Anheuser-Busch has a Stein series. Avon has a Stein series. I wouldn't buy the Avon ones, although they're not terrible. I mean, if you get them for under $1, you can make probably $15 off of them. The Busch, I spit all over myself. The Anheuser-Busch Steins are, yeah, I'm barely acting human today. Having trouble humaning.
It's all good, Eric. It's all good.
The Busch Steins go for between 10 and 20 a piece. And so again, if you could, I bought 45 of them, I think, and I paid $6 for 45 of them.
Wow.
They're still sitting in my garage because it was so many. I had bought just a ton of stuff at the auction, and I still have about half of that to list.
Oh, wow.
And so they're sitting out in the garage, but I mean, it was just like, I could not believe I was able to get them that cheap. And I don't normally buy stuff like that because it's just not that interesting. But I looked up a couple of them and they were like $20 a piece. I'm like, well, all right, so I'll just bid on these, and see if I win them, I win them. If I don't, I don't. I bid $1 a lot, and they were sold. There were 6 lots, and it's just like, my goodness, I cannot believe that nobody else wanted these things, and there's still value to them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a great value, but one of those days when you're not finding anything, you go grab them and throw them up.
Yeah. Norwegian Stein on here. It says C 1700s, and
Circa
I don't know if
1700. C is circa.
okay. And then for $499.99.
Yep. I mean, any German beer stein is going to be worth a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Just because it's Germany. Now, it gets interesting if you see it marked West Germany. You can date that sign. I mean, that's 1964 to 1989. I mean, that's to the reunification. So you got a little bit of with a West Germany, kind of when it is. And then if it's older than that, it's going to be just Germany. But there's a lot of really cool World War II German steins. There's a lot of Nazi steins, which I don't buy, but they're really, the artwork is beautiful. Imagery is sad, but and then you get into with occupational steins, things like that, and that sort of kind of cross connects into the occupational shaving mugs. If you've never seen those are actually really pretty cool, and those can be very, very expensive. So I mean, there's
What are they
I don't
called?
like, they're called occupational shaving mug. And what those will do, it'll be like, and what it was is, you would get, like, doctors would have, it'd have a doctor's imagery on the shaving mug. And back in the day, you had your own shaving mug, and it was kept at the barber. And so they would keep it on the shelf, and you'd have all these occupational. That's the doctor's mug. And so when he would come in to get a shave, they'd grab the doctor's mug, do the shave, do the whole nine thing, and then put the mug back. And those are very collectible now. And the weirder the occupation, the more valuable.
Bring the money.
Yeah, I've seen mortician ones that brought just insane money. Police officers, doctors, firemen. I mean, there's all kinds of different ones out there.
So they would have the doctor's name on it, right?
Typically, usually there would be a name on it, but there's also it's an occupation that shows that he's a doctor, and there'd be images of a doctor. Sometimes like a stethoscope, or just things that are the caduceus emblem, things like that. But yeah, I mean, that's just real interesting, cool little collectible stuff. That's what people like to collect, because it's doctors like to collect those things, cops like to collect those things. I mean, people like to collect things that are their chosen profession.
Yeah.
It's just finding that weird one. And I will tell you, anything old mortuary is huge.
Yeah.
Because the macabre.
I mean, none of these that I'm finding are cheap. That's for sure.
I have never bought any of those because I see them at auction, and
I've seen a freaking million of those last couple of years.
Yeah, you got to buy that. It's just different. You got to think about taking a shot at.
I know, but it's learning about it. You learn about it, and you're like, okay, I'm never gonna pass up on one of those again.
That's why I like going to live auction so much. When you get there early, you can kind of walk around and pick up just that weird, unusual stuff. Take 5 seconds to look it up and go, oh, this is worth a lot more than I thought it was.
Yeah.
You just kind of go from there. I mean, that's how I learn. I mean, I've spent hundreds of hours at live auction.
That's insane. It's insane because they're just like, it's like very, you know, a lot of different, pictures and stuff on them.
Mhm.
But
They're cool.
yeah, they are. There's this one, oh, yeah, there's this one. It says nice. What does it say? Oh, it just says occupational shaving mug, photographic businessman. It has a picture, an older looking picture, like a middle-aged man on this mug. I don't think it has a.
An
I don't
actual
think it
name.
has a picture I think it has a name or anything on it. But it just looks cool, just the way it is.
Hmm. And they haven't really gone into reproducing those. I mean, I'm sure there was some probably in the 50s or 60s, but you can tell the difference in the glass. The glass in the old, I mean, those are fairly heavy. I mean, because I mean they're designed to have a brush banging around on the inside of them, and you can look at the work that's done on them, the type of transfer that was done on them. You can usually tell the older ones pretty easily. But even then, I think
Yeah.
even something in the 50s and 60s would still be collectible. You know, if you see Fire King on it or something like that, I mean, that's a different, that's not, that's, 40s on up. So, but
Yeah,
yeah, and
one that I've seen on here. I've seen on here a couple of times actually. The quartet pop singers.
Yep.
And I've seen that twice, but that's the only one that I've seen. I mean, everything else is just different pictures and different names.
And because some of these were custom pieces, with the person's name on them and everything. I mean, they're kind of, it's hard to find two that are exactly the same. But
Right.
even two doctors are not necessarily going to have the exact same mug because they may want it differently. They may want different things on it.
Right.
So, I mean, it's fun stuff. And it's, like I said, it's something if you see and you get it at a reasonable price, you can make money on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm down into the $50 sales, and it looks like the it almost looks like the mug is not even a mug. It looks like almost plastic, but they have the weird handles on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like a circle handle to where you just put your finger through.
Yeah, because it's designed to sit there while you're mixing. I mean, I shavered it with a brush. So I mean, I have a teak bowl for mine, but back in the day they used to use a mug. I mean, and I've got a mug, but it's nothing special. But I prefer the bowl because I stopped using the bar soap, the shaving soap, and I use more of a liquid. But the only thing I haven't
Yeah, but
mastered is
it just looks like it's not as good of I don't know.
the quality is not quite the same.
Right.
But I mean, it's a $50 mug if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get it for $4 or $5.
I'd take it.
Yeah. I'd rather sell those all day long than the Starbucks mugs. I mean,
Okay, here's one. 1950s Sportsman. That's the brand,
okay.
Sportsman. And one says the merchant, one says the lamplighter, and one says the dentist. Well, they got a best offer off at $24.95.
Yeah, so those are the
plus 15 shipping.
yeah,
So
they probably got $30 for it, $35 for it.
yeah.
And those are your 50s reproductions of the 1890s, 1880s stuff. So, I always say if you can collect the originals, but you know what? You got to start your collection somewhere if you want to get into these types of things. So you might as well collect what you can afford, and
Yeah.
you can always upgrade your collection down the road.
Right.
But I was at an auction where the guy was selling his entire collection of those things, and it was just fascinating looking at them all. And then watching the prices at live auction for stuff like that goes usually higher than even eBay, and they were paying 100, 125, $150 a mug, and you're just like, well, not because I'm not going to buy any of those today. It was, yeah, and that's fine. I mean, I don't fault people for spending a lot of money to buy something that's really cool, especially when it's worth, that or even a little bit less. I mean, they're buying it for themselves usually. You don't usually see people overpaying for resale. Every now and then you do, but
Right.
unless they've got a
That's
specific
the kind
outlet
of thing.
to really sell.
That's the kind of thing you need to find at a yard sale or a
Yeah.
thrift store where they don't know what they got.
Yep. Garage sales. I mean, most thrift stores that won't get into a thrift store, but garage sales, estate sales, where they don't. You've got an inexperienced person in there who doesn't understand what it is, but stuff like that's going to be in a kind of in a prominent spot in the house. So they're going to think it's worth some money anyway. You're not going to find that in the bathroom. But it's just you never know. You never know what you're going to find at those type of sales, and so that's why I like going to estate sales. I didn't garage sale. I haven't garage sale for years because it's usually not worth the hassle, especially around here. It's just a lot of baby clothes. But for me, I mean, I like estate sales, but again, I don't go on the first day usually because it's some of these estate sales. These appraisers, I don't know where they get their prices from. They're not going off of solds; they're going off of asks for the most part.
Because they're stupid.
Yep.
Hey, I gotta pee. Be right back.
Okay.
Plus, Dusty's here, and I don't want to talk to him.
What? You don't want to talk to me? Is what she said? So I almost went to an estate sale yesterday.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, and I took, after the show ended, just the audience, whatever. After the show ended, I stayed in the hangout for a few minutes, and Eric, you were still in there. I think Valerie, you had left for whatever reason. I don't know. But anyhow, I know Nikki was still in there. But I turned my camera around on my dash, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go check it out. And I'm like, it starts at 11. It's a company I've never really been to, blah, blah, blah. Good neighborhood. Didn't really like they had no pictures. They don't advertise. She advertises only through email, apparently. But somebody had forwarded the email to me, a friend of mine. Anyhow, I get there. It's like 11. They're going to draw the first round of numbers like any other company and let the first group through the door. And it's a little bit after 11. So I'm assuming that they've already let the first crowd in. Anyhow, I turn on the street, and it's at like the top of this kind of dead end street, and it's literally wall to wall cars. I'm like, no. And so I had the camera turned. I'm looking, look at this, and I'm like, look at all the people in the yard. I think they've already let a round of people in. Here's my thing. Would my money be better? Would my time, which is money, be better off spent? There's nothing wrong with estate sales. I've one time that I can think of stood in line and taken a number. And that was simply because, and I did a video of it a long time ago, I scored so much cool crap in this house, and it was right around the corner. And I knew that they hadn't gotten to everything really well. It was a totally different company. And I wanted to be back the next morning for a couple items that I had gone home and done research on. So I got there early the following morning and stood in line and got a number to go get those specific items. But other than that, I mean, could I have made money? Yeah. Is it worth my time to stand in line when you're fighting for, and I'm not dissing estate sales, but you're dealing with a situation where somebody that's several somebodies that are extremely knowledgeable have already looked everything up. So you're looking for the items they missed or undervalued, essentially.
Yep.
If it's an estate sale company type situation.
Well, the worst part about it was with that one specifically, you had no information to go on. I mean, they would say, nice mantle clock.
It was literally an email with a wall of like 4 huge wall of text type paragraphs that were like, yeah, a great sideboard, a great headboard. It's like all this just different there was nothing to give me any indication of what was there. But so anyhow, I told Eric, I said, here's my thing. I can either spend a couple hours here, which to me, time is money. I can spend a couple hours here hunting for that occasional item that I might make some money off of that they missed, blah, blah, blah. Or I can go down the road to the little animal rescue place that is only open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday every week. So that means Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, they put all the crap out. Today is a fresh round of stuff. I can go down there knowing that I'll probably find something they missed because they miss a lot of stuff. And I can make some good money. So I went to the animal rescue place. I spent $40. I got a pet safe things that you put the collars on your pets, and you have the big transmitter thing. I got just the transmitter. Came home, listed it for $100, and it sold like within about 3 hours.
Nice.
Sold it for $100. There was an item in there that Eric needed specifically for his son, so I sold that to Eric for $30.
And you made good money on that.
And I made decent money off that.
And I was fine paying the money that he paid because I actually got a deal on it personally.
You got a great deal because it's less than what I probably would have got on eBay. But I didn't have to mess with eBay with pictures and blah, blah, blah. Not to mention you're a friend and it helped you. So that was a win-win all the way around.
Yep.
But I sold something else out of there. I think I got a DVD that's worth $50. I mean, I got an Xbox 360 Call of Duty Modern Warfare limited edition controller that's worth about $30. I mean, anyhow, so my point is I spent $40. I scored 200, and by the time it's all said and done, about $250 worth of stuff in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think, is there money in estate sales? Yes, I've done really well with some estate sales. But I think it's one of those, I see too many people go back to these same places. That's not where, if you find I'm so not awake and it's not coming out right. If you find that you're making really good money from doing A, B, and C, then quit doing X, Y, and Z as often.
Yeah. I agree with that 100% because I mean it's fine to jump out every now and then to just shake things up, but if you're primarily getting if most of your profit is coming from those couple places that you go to, why spend hours searching other places when you can make a living off those few places? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, Jason's a great example. He makes a ton of money off his one big auction typically every year, so he knows that he saves up for he anticipates it. Yeah,
but he probably drives by 2 thrift stores to get to his office every day, but he doesn't spend all his time digging through the thrift store because he knows that's not where the money is for him. And I'm not bashing thrift stores either. It's just he's a really good example of he's figured out what works, so that's what he does for him.
Like you're trying to get around his little electronics. Jason.
Oh, I thought I didn't have to say anything. I was like, this is cool, man. No, seriously though. Yeah, I literally passed like maybe 10 or 15 thrift stores actually on the way to work.
Oh.
And yeah.
I was being cautious.
No, Dusty's right though. If I go in one of those places, it's purely for amusement's sake.
Well, you're actually kind of exploring the online auction, storage auctions more now. You're kind of taking a deeper dive into that to see if that's worth your time.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I will add though, estate sales can be different at different places.
Oh yeah.
Believe it or not, estate sales are where I get the best stuff at the cheapest price.
But you're looking for very specific items at those estate sales.
Yeah, but basically with the estate sales, at least around here, they're mostly like, I immediately go to the basement. Anything in the basement is usually free game, and they don't even price.
Yeah.
And it doesn't just have to be tools. It's usually guy stuff for the most part down there. But even not, it's rarely priced, and they're really open to negotiation to get that kind of crap the hell out of there.
Yeah.
So
I went to one, it's been a year and a half, and I walked down to the basement and it was the last day of the sale. So everything was supposed to be 50% off.
Mhm.
And I'd gone through, I was selling a lot of clothes back then. And I went through all the closets upstairs. I just didn't really find anything that I thought, it's worth finding. I thought about buying just everything, all the clothing and everything, just making them an offer.
Right.
And so I wandered downstairs and they've got this clothesline hung up and they've got all these jeans down there, no prices on anything. And I literally bought 15 pairs of silver tab Levi's down there.
Hmm.
They were just hanging up there. They didn't even bother messing with, and I paid $1 a pair. I was like, did they not even come down here and look? Because there was a lot of cool stuff in the basement, but I literally, estate sale, I'm going to check that out because I was coming back from an auction pickup.
I mean, around here, I could tell you this much: if you're not like in the top 10 to 15 to get in the door, it's not even worth your time. And second and third days, no way. There's nothing left unless it's stupid overmarked to begin with. And then even if they're 50% discount or so on the last day, it's still not worth it.
I'll give it for it. The stuff I did good with the last time at that last estate sale, really one of the last ones I went to, other than like 3 months ago, we were driving down the road and I was like, oh, look, estate sale. And I ran it and I grabbed some books. But, they overlooked, like, I got lucky and I dug in the garage and I found a DVD, VHS player, sealed, still in the original, Panasonic or Sanyo box or whatever. And I ended up finding an old Apple computer down in the basement that they'd overlooked and kind of had like $20 on it. But that was a weird estate where it was probably our top estate sale company, but he admitted we've never seen this much crap in one house before, so we couldn't do the research like we normally could. But yeah, I agree with Jason. It's not, and I'm not dissing estate sales, but it's kind of, I don't know. I don't like to fight people to try. It's one of the reasons why we don't have a weigh and pay here. But if we did, I probably wouldn't go a whole lot because I don't want to fight a bunch of people to find the one item that everybody else missed.
Yeah, I went to the weigh and pay one time and I was like, oh my goodness, this is not my style.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have a very love-hate relationship with estate sales. I make the most money there, but on the flip side, as far as enjoyment, I hate it, hate it, hate it. I mean, around here, first of all, you have to be there 2 hours early to get a number.
Yeah.
I mean, minimum. And it's like, at like 6 a.m, I am not a happy freaking camper, okay? And then when you got to wait there for like 2, I mean, you could drive around locally and do something, but it's like, I don't know. I always I don't know. I just, in the morning, I'm never feeling that great. So I'm just in a bad mood. I feel like shit. And then when you finally get in, it's like, the rushing of the bulls, and you just got to grab and fight and push and pull.
Yeah, that's not my style. I like to, for years, I've kept a much more sedate pace in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think about things. I like to wander through. I'm not good. You want to rush and grab it, be my guest, because I'm not going to fight you for it. I had a friend tell me, there's an old story about, getting pushed out of the way and the guy screaming, I don't let any asshole go before me. And friends like, oh yeah, I let every asshole go before me. So go ahead. I don't want to mess with stuff like that. So,
I mean, I hate it. I really do hate it. But at the same time, I mean, I only go to a couple a year because I cherry pick. And it has to be a place that has a lot of good stuff, and, I just, every once in a while, just buck up and just do it. But I absolutely hate it. I mean, such a pain in the butt. So in that sense, I mean, you're absolutely right. And then it's even worse for you guys because, like Dusty said, most of the stuff upstairs is marked higher prices, There's not that many great deals necessarily.
Yeah. I mean, our companies here do full price, then 25% off the next day, then 50%. I think one may even go to 75% or whatever. But it's like day one full price, 25%, 50%. So they price stuff at, I mean, except we have one good company here that leaves a little meat on the bone. But when I say leaves a little meat on the bone, Like if the item's worth 100, she might put it at 50, maybe 50. But I'm sorry, my personal business model right now, I'm not going to spend $50 to net $20. That's just not my thing. I mean, yeah, is that a great profit mark, 40% profit margin, whatever? I mean, yeah, to some people that'd be really, you know, to a regular brick and mortar store, that'd be like, wow, that's a great, you know, I can't make a living doing that. There's not enough hours in the day. So, I mean, she does, you know, she does leave a little meat on the bone. I don't know. They're one of those things in the grand scheme of things. You know, it's like our Goodwill and our Salvation Army. They suck. Is there stuff to be found there? Yes, there absolutely is. Is it worth the time to dig through those two particular stores to find those? You know, when I figure out what can I do with my day that's the most profitable, Goodwill is at the very bottom of the list. So is Salvation Army, and so is the majority of the estate sales in our town. You know, unless they're a mom and pop type situation, or family came in and hired a friend. Those are the ones I like. Or the family just came in themselves, and we can have an estate sale. Love those. Yeah. There's a pair of boots hanging on the wall behind me that remind me why I love the mom and pop one. You know,
I mean, you know, my favorite style is really just buying at auctions, because I enjoy the opportunity to at least buy anything that I've seen pictures of.
Yeah.
You know, whereas an estate sale, it's just a grab for all. You see something cool, you might, you know, could be gone the first 30 seconds, you never see it. At least with an auction, you have the opportunity to, you know, depending on what you want to pay for it, to at least get that item.
Well, and what I don't like about estate sales is the negotiation is a lot more difficult.
Oh, it's very easy. I mean, I usually just throw up a mass pile, and then we'll come to some easy situation.
That's because I mean, but if you're looking at things that are priced,
yeah,
especially if you're there on the first day, they really don't want to come off those prices.
Ours won't budge. Ours will flat out tell you, no, you'll have to come back on Thursday. And I look, and this kind of irritated me at the last one I went to. I said, listen, I live 25 miles away. This is the one item I want. You close at 1 o'clock. It's 12:59. You're closing things down. Can I please just, no, if we do it for one person, we have to do it for everybody. And I'm like, really? Really? You want me to waste part of my day and drive all the way back over here to be first in line to get this one single item that you could give me now and nobody would know?
Yeah.
I'm offering you 25% less, which is what it's going to be 2 days from now. Joe Hare asked if anybody does jewelry at estate sales. Our estate sales here take all their good stuff when they clear out an estate, and they take it and get rid of it with somebody that you know, a jeweler or whatever that pays top dollar for gold or silver. Actually, a good friend of mine is the person that the majority of the estate sales in town take the stuff to. So they'll usually maybe leave a small piece or two or costume jewelry. If you're talking about all that stuff that's usually on the table up by the checkout, you know, it's in the glass display cases or whatever. Sometimes I'll find good stuff. I'll find little war medals or things like that that you can make a little bit of money off of. But as far as like hordes of jewelry, now it's usually long gone with our companies.
Yep.
You know, getting back to the estate sales a second, the one good thing about, like, you know, I usually make a large pile and buy a lot of stuff. And the one good thing about that is you get to know the people very well, and they're very happy with you because you're buying a lot. And at least around here, they'll cut me discounts if I'm a regular customer. You know, and if you get in really good with them, then you can be on the list of people that usually get in before the sale, which is always amazing to be on.
Yeah, when you think about it, isn't that kind of a bunch of crap?
Yeah.
What's the point of having an estate sale company that you don't want to budge off of if you're going to have a preferred customer list that gets in early?
When I've been on a couple of lists in the past, and oh my God, man. I mean, I bought entire basements at least 2 or 3 times.
Now, I'm not going to say there. I'm not saying there's not. You can't make any money at estate sales, because I want to correct myself. Like Silver Hair Stacker saying, I get on my 35mm slides, whatever. we being the 5 people on this panel and the people watching, are all part of a community, a reselling community. There's one of those buzzwords I hate. Part of reselling communities that have a lot of knowledge about a lot of weird stuff. A lot of these people running these estate sale companies they don't know that VHS players sell for decent money. That's the kind of things where you can sometimes go in. 35 millimeter slide, they're usually not as knowledgeable because they've been doing estate sales for 30 years and they can't give those things away. So you can find like that Apple computer I found that time in the basement of that estate sale. He didn't know that old Apple stuff sold. So yes, you can find, but like I said, it's looking for that pig in a poke. I don't know. I pulled up to the sale yesterday and I just looked at the crowd and I said, I'm not getting out of the car. I'm not doing this. And Eric's like, yeah, I can't really blame you. And I just put the car in reverse, drove back down the street and went somewhere else. I just wasn't in the mood for it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, on the same token, I flat out won't do garage sales or yard sales or any of that kind of stuff. I'll only do estate sales.
But see, like in this area, you can find really good deals at yard sales. Like, even on tools and stuff.
Well,
but
I'm gonna be looking for some tools this year.
For me,
Ventured
the yard
out of my
sales
area.
are usually like, I'd say 80% of them are like baby clothes and toys and stuff. It just gets frustrating driving around place to place to place.
But those, and there's going to be people that disagree. You might be missing something. If I pull up to a house and I look and it's like one of those neighborhoods, Tristan calls them breeder neighborhoods. It's one of those neighborhoods, and you can tell they're probably, living paycheck to paycheck because they put everything in their big house that's in their little neighborhood with their HOA and their community swimming pool, and and you look and it's just all baby clothes and kids toys. I won't even get out of the car. I just keep on going. I mean, did I miss a Medela breast pump or a baby monitor video system or something that might be underpriced? Yeah, but my experience has been typically those are the people that think, and this is stereotyping people, and I'm not, whatever, I'll catch hell for it.
Are you going to say those used people?
Those are the type of people that usually think their used stuff is worth what they paid for it.
Yep.
That's just been my experience. So you have to take statistics because you can't hit everything. So you have to take statistics and just kind of eliminate things. And are things going to fall through the cracks? Yeah. But you just kind of got to go with your gut, I guess.
I agree. Yeah. And you can't get them to come off that idea that it is worth that much. And they're the type of people that will grab an eBay listing for some crazy price and say that's what it brings on eBay, and you're like, no, that's not a sold, that's a ask, and it's a completely different animal. But
I think the worst is when they take a thing from eBay and print it out and stick it on the item.
Yeah.
Yard sale lovers.
For the longest time, my Salvation Army is doing that.
Ugh,
I don't know if they still are, but
retail store.
Yard sale lovers said, I love yard sales. That's where I get great clothes. Been doing it for 8 years now. And that's true. If you look, the majority of the clothes that I wear and Tristan wears have probably come from yard sales, and our kids wear. We get a ton of really good clothes. I don't sell clothing though. But I can see where, you could get, I'll give an example. The pair of Brooks tennis shoes, they came from a thrift store, but that's the same thing, whatever. They don't look up brands. All shoes are $2.50. And so I got them for $2.50. They're worth $50, $60. Eric got a hell of a deal on them. But, that's a pretty good shoes. I don't mind selling because there's not a whole lot of measuring.
Yeah.
It's
I knew what Dusty paid for the shoes. So it's not like he was, he only paid $250. I offered him $5. No, I gave him a fair price. And
with the yard sales, it depends on what you buy. If you're a clothing person, yard sales are probably the bomb. There's usually clothing all over the place.
Here's the problem. Here's one of the problems with yard sales, though, too, and I'm not necessarily clothes related. One of the biggest problems with yard sales, if people are having their own yard sale, they know what they paid for their item.
Get it?
They typically, on the majority of items that they purchase new themselves, they kind of know what stuff is worth. People miss stuff. Yard sales are still a great source, don't get me wrong, but you do have a little bit of that factor in there of people, the lady that's putting out, the guy that's putting out the $200 tennis shoes, he knows those were $200 tennis shoes because he remembers and going and buying them. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Now, they may not know the value and what their stuff still has value. If they put out their old DVD, VHS combo, whatever, they may not know that, wow, people are still buying VHS. So there is, but once again, you're fighting a little bit of a people that kind of know the value of their stuff. But
Did you see this, what Philip Letner said? eBay, Amazon offer on things. I asked for the transaction fees to be deducted and a written full money back 30-day warranty.
And I want it packed in a box and handed to me.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it right.
No, I mean, just people don't realize what stuff is actually.
Not to mention, people always think eBay is so friggin' easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy when you sell 1 or 2 items a year.
it's easy when you're standing in your garage on your smartphone getting ready for your yard sale. We'll just put that on eBay. But those are the same people that are having a yard sale because they put all that crap in the garage for years saying, we'll put that on eBay, and they never got around to doing it.
Yep.
Yep.
I don't know. I like the sales, and I usually typically find them a little more in rural areas. Church yard sales, love church yard sales because people are bringing their stuff. The people at the church are not usually 99% of the time knowledgeable on what they have. They're dealing with masses of stuff that people brought in and put into the church gym. Love church yard sales.
Mm-hmm.
So they're throwing prices on stuff and not even really doing a whole lot of research. I like the sales that are out kind of a little more in the country, maybe cleaning out grandma's house, but it's not an estate sale company kind of thing, or grandma's cleaning out her own house and doesn't really know that half the stuff she has is now vintage and collectible. Like, oh, I remember buying that. Nobody'd want that old thing. And you're like, yep, you're right. Nobody'd want it. I'll take all of them,
Or a place that's just stuffed to the max.
Yep. Yard Sale Lover says, I love community sales. The only problem is the only place we have community sales here, if you're talking about the ones where
Townwide, right?
Like, huh?
Like townwide.
When we have community yard sales here, it's like everybody in that same HOA subdivision got together and they're all going to have one on the same day. The problem is here, those end up being the breeder neighborhoods. And it's literally, Tristan and I did one day and somehow the video got deleted off the phone because I was going to post it. It was, I just went off on a rant for like 15 minutes. I'm like, hey, we're hitting some yard sales. Let me turn the camera around. And it was literally like, oh my God, another look at the baby clothing. And it was just baby clothing. It was literally 15 yard sales. And every single one of them was nothing but like kids' toys and baby clothing.
Maybe baby clothing should be something to get into then. If it's that.
There's money there, but my experience has been, they want $1.50 or $2 a piece for a onesie. You're not making money,
Yeah, I know people who actually do well at baby sales and selling baby clothes and stuff like that. And,
you can. It's just
you just lots. You sell a lot of baby clothing or something like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just.
Yard Sale Lover has an area there in Vegas. Yard Sale Lover has an area there in Vegas that's full of mature, retired people that have the community sales. See, that's okay.
As long as they're not in those little like condo houses.
In the what?
The retirement houses and stuff. little condos, everything.
Yeah, they've already downsized.
Downsized to, yeah. You know, speaking of buying, one of the easiest places out of everything, the easiest way to buy is just buying on eBay. Just a couple of clicks and have it shipped to you.
Yep.
I mean, I don't get stuff that often, but when I do, it's awesome.
I thought that was going to be like one of those quotes from the greatest man in the world or whatever. I don't always buy stuff on eBay, but when I do, I was waiting for the end of it, and then you're like,
I'm trying to be serious today, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. So is today serious day? Is that the reason when I woke up, the only person on here was Sally and Valerie and Eric? It's serious day.
Yep. Got stood up.
By who?
By you guys. You guys were the late bloomers.
Yeah, but I'm always late.
Silver Hair Stacker said, yeah, community sale with the golf course in the middle. Now, higher end neighborhoods, if they got a golf course in the middle, I'm all right with those. It's the neighborhood of starter houses. That's, I guess, the best way to say it. They're nice houses, but it's the neighborhoods where you drive down, everybody's got a minivan, everybody's a PTA mom, and yeah, I'm stereotyping people for a minute. Everybody has 2.5 kids between the ages of 5 and 13. That's the neighborhoods I'm talking about. And they're in their early mid-30s. Is that awful? Because that described us a couple of years ago, except we didn't live in one of those neighborhoods. Can you ship a pocket knife to global shipping?
Yep. Depends.
It let him buy it.
If you let him buy it, he'll let it ship it then. Where's it going though?
I don't know. I just remember seeing when I accepted the offer a minute ago. Hold on. Print packing slip. Italy.
Italy's kind of weird.
Wow, I've never seen so many vowels in a combination of name and address in my entire life. Everything's an A or an I. Well, if not, it's not my problem. Have Dusty send you the link. Does Nikki not have the link again?
Do what?
Does Nikki not have the link again?
She can't. I kept inviting her and she can't get in.
Oh, we didn't tell
And
me
I sent her the link and it still didn't work. So I don't know.
Magic touch.
Apparently so.
Worked.
Oh, there she is.
I guess that's the only way you can get in.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it works sometimes and why it doesn't with you.
Yard sale
It don't
lover.
work. It doesn't.
Yard sale lover has a pair of emerald 14-karat white gold earrings valued at $150. Should I try selling for $100? She's asking Silver Hair.
Nope.
I would probably, if they're valued at, when you say valued at 150, chances are the emeralds probably aren't worth really anything. The value's more in the gold.
Yep.
So, and Silver Hair asked how much do they weigh. They're going to basically be worth scrap. I mean, unless you want to wait around for the person that needs a pair of emerald earrings.
And appraised value to sell it, you're going to be lucky if you get 20%.
Do what?
if you have an appraised value of jewelry to resell it, you're lucky if you're going to get 20% of that value, of that appraised value. So if it's worth 150, you might get $30 for it. Now, again, if there's more gold there, then it's going to be worth more as gold scrap. I mean, 90% of the time, small things like that are worth more as scrap than they are as earrings. But
well, I mean, your
you know,
emerald, your emeralds, your rubies, your sapphire, unless they're older pieces, most of that stuff anymore is lab created. So it's really literally worth a couple. I mean, go look at eBay. Go look up loose stones for emeralds. You know, that are around that same size as what's probably in those earrings. You can buy them for like next to nothing. So you don't really have a whole lot of value there.
yeah, jewelry's just not worth what it used to be.
She said maybe 1 gram.
About $15, $18 then.
A gram of 14 carats is going to be about $23, $24.
Yeah.
If they're 14. And that's assuming you didn't weigh them and you're counting the weight, which wouldn't add up to a whole lot, the weight of the stone.
I would probably try to sell them as earrings, 14 karat gold with emeralds in them, and probably try to get $50 out of them.
Maybe they would go better on Etsy or the vintage.
It's just not going to be.
Yeah, it's not going to be profitable.
Well, if you already own them, I mean, as long as you didn't pay too much for them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sound right, though. Okay, 22.57. I was off a little bit on my. That doesn't sound right, though, that 2 earrings together would only weigh a gram.
Yeah, it depends on how elaborate they are.
I mean, unless these are tiny, 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 unless we're talking about studs or something, I can see that. But I guess I was picturing more.
I would have thought
diamond chips around the edge, et cetera, et cetera. A friend of mine has a machine that tests loose stones and stuff. And you remember I found a bunch of loose stones and all that jewelry stuff from all that vintage haul, and I've been saving up a little pile. I dropped them off with him the other day. He was going to run them through his, I don't forget what, a refractor or something. He said when he had time, he'd run them through there and just see. He said, and he just flipped through them. He's like, I can tell you there's probably, even if any of them were written, there's probably not a whole lot that's of any great value, but at least you know what's what, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I haven't heard back from him.
I sold a bag of loose stones for almost $400 at a live auction. It was from I bought it at another auction. I paid $70 for it, and it was from somebody who was scrapping gold and silver, and they were just taking the stones and they'd throw them in a bag. And they weren't discriminate; they just would throw any stone in there. And so, not only did I have real stones, I had a bunch of crap stones in there as well. And so, I had no idea what it was. I bought a diamond tester, and I'm totally incompetent with how to use the thing. So I had no real idea what I actually had. I mean, I paid $70. I knew it was decent, and I hung on to it and traveled with it. I had it for like 3 years, and had brought it back up here. I bought it down in Maryland and brought it back up here. And my mother-in-law needed some stones she makes custom jewelry pieces for the family when they hit the girls turn 18, they get a custom ring, things like that. And so I said, well, here's a bag of stones. Take them to your jeweler, pick out some stones that you like. That's nice, and be my guest. And which I said, and while you're up there, just see if there's anything that's really decent in here. And so she had the jeweler look at him. He went through everything, and he said, there's some nice stones in here, but there's nothing really, they're $5, $10 stones. There's nothing real spectacular in here, is what I would expect it to buy them for. So I said, okay. So I knew there wasn't anything super big in there, so I just threw it kept it in the same baggie and took it to a live auction. It was alive, and they also do it on proxy bid, and I got $400 for it. And we'd already taken like 20 stones out of there, so
Wow.
I was happy with that.
Silver Hair Stacker said if the earrings still look nice, then yeah, the jewelry value is quite a bit more than just the gold value, whatever. Here's my thing, and I know Silver Hair's in that business, and Thrift Daddy does some jewelry and stuff. Unbranded jewelry that's not spectacular or not necessarily estate or whatever, it's really hard. I don't have patience for it. Let's just put it that way. I don't have the patience to list stuff like that on eBay, because if you go look up emerald earrings, emerald drop earrings right now, there's probably a gazillion results, and I don't like stuff. That's just me. I'd rather scrap stuff out, have my money out of it. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask. Emerald drop earrings, 3,526 results. So you're kind of going to be a pig in a poke, so to speak. A needle in a haystack.
Pig in a poke.
I've used that expression 3 times today. I don't know where I got that from. It's so freaking country. Oh, wait a minute. I was in solds. My bad. I was in completed. 3,363 inactive. So, unless they have something unique to them, and depending on how patient, if you're the kind of person that doesn't mind sticking them out there for $150, heck yeah, I'll do it. Do it and throw them in a box and throw them on the shelf somewhere. Me personally, if there's a couple grams worth of weight there, let's say there's $75 worth of scrap, I just soon scrap them for $75 and move on. Take that 75 and buy something else with it. Yeah, like Thrift Day said, if it isn't James Avery or David Yurman or Tiffany or believe it or not, some of the QVC designers stuff does pretty well.
Thomas Sabo, Links of London, also brings in money.
Do what?
Thomas Sabo and Links of London also brings in good money.
Yeah, those QVC people are good because they it may not be that big of a deal, but because you bought it from QVC, but it's a known name, and that's what people are buying. They're buying the name. Oh, I've heard that before.
Yeah.
It's like that. What was that QVC piece you just sold, Dusty? What the hell was
jewelry?
No,
The Scrub Daddy.
Huh?
The Scrub Daddy.
No, that was it that vacuum that you got that was a QVC model now? He had something that was a QVC item that you still sold, the Shark or something like that. Wasn't that a Shark? QVC?
Oh yeah, it was a Shark vacuum made specifically for QVC.
Yeah, so it's a Shark vacuum. It's still, but it's a QVC model number. But it still sells.
It's the only place I know of where you can buy food on a payment plan.
You're talking about the survival food?
No, I just mean food in general. They'll have it's cupcake day, and they'll have you can buy 3 trays of cupcakes, but you can split it up into 3 easy payments of $24.99.
I've never bought anything off of QVC.
Yeah,
QVC
Jessica does. That's why I know.
QVC people will find something they like a brand. They're definitely very loyal.
Oh yeah.
To it. Those little old ladies, and I'm not saying they're all little old ladies, but if they have a certain brand of jewelry that comes, what are some of those brands of jewelry, like designer jewelry, that made it QVC, but they were still pretty popular? Remember when we were going through all that jewelry and stuff at the thrift store? We're finding. Remember we found a bunch of Yurman stuff in there.
No, we didn't find a bunch either. We
Or
found
some Silpada, but Silpada's a home brand.
yeah,
Isn't it?
that's not.
That's not QVC.
No, it's not QVC. There's Zapata. There's oh, if you hadn't asked, I could have told you. Okay. You heard from Joe?
Not yet. Got 16 items to ship.
He told Kate he wanted to leave first thing this morning. She figures he'll leave at noon.
That's what he told me he's going to be here by noon. I was like, yeah, whatever. You don't get up till then. Speaking of silver, Joan Rivers, yeah, Tristan said Joan Rivers jewelry was QVC, but I mean, some of that stuff, even though it's not, you know, it'll bring a little more than whatever. Vintage jewelry, of course, always does a little bit better. Is anybody else, can anybody hear me, or did it just get like really eerily quiet?
No, we hear it.
Okay. You know, I'm not disagreeing. The Silverhair put a link to one of his items that he had just sold, and he said it was about $20 worth of gold. But he got more for it. But see, I think that's an exception. That's a vintage piece. Of course, if that weighed in at 2.4 grams, well, you take out for the stones, yeah, it's probably $30-something worth of gold, and you got 60, it's like $60-something for it.
Yeah, I mean, you can see. I mean, jewelry is worth what so many people pay for it. So it costs a lot more to have a piece of jewelry made than actually the gold values in it. But yeah, the problem is gold being decently valuable. Most people are just interested in scrap.
I think it just depends on your, you know, if that, then that's obviously the business that he's in, of selling stuff like that. He doesn't mind sitting on things like that. I'm just not a sitter waiter. You know, that's not my, not really as much my, my style. I would rather take it to a guy that I have down the road that pays me about 95% of scrap value, flip it to him. I mean, he actually gave me, remember the antique hat pin that I had?
Yeah.
14 karat. I've had it listed for 4, 5, 6 months. Couldn't sell it. Took it to him the other day. He weighed it. It was right at 1 gram. The stone was not anything of any value in it. And he looked at me and he goes, my buddy at the jewelry store goes, he goes, it's about $23 worth of 14 karat. He said, but it's antique. He said, and he went to the safe and he came back. He goes, and he opens up a padded thing and he goes, look at all the antique hat pins. He said, I have a couple of antique dealers that come in and buy them. He said, I'll give you $30 for it. So he actually paid me more than scrap because he knew there was antique value there. I had it marked down as low as about $60 and couldn't even get a freaking offer on it. You know, I'd rather have the $30 in my pocket. It's been laying here underneath my computer monitor. I'm surprised I haven't lost it yet. And I wanted it gone, so I took the $30 on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it depends on what your model, you know, your business model is.
Yeah, I got a 14 karat gold ring I just picked up. Weighs 4 grams, so you know, whatever that's going to bring. I gave my stepson $30. Found it in the house he was cleaning out.
I mean, and we were talking about this last night. I mean, there's exceptions, like, you know, class rings can sometimes bring a little more if they're for a popular university or you have somebody that's looking to replace one. Then again, you may have to sit on them for a while. Antique class rings and vintage class rings sometimes do good. You know, Mason rings, Masonic stuff will bring a little more than scrap. I wouldn't necessarily scrap something like that out, but I also know Masonic stuff sells fairly quickly too. You know, it's pretty easy to throw it up there and get good money for it.
I've done that a lot of times with like I know it's not jewelry, but I've done it a lot of times with books. Like about a couple of years ago, maybe about a year ago, I got like a whole huge bunch of law books for free, and they were all worth money, but I could pass most of them off at the book buying places and get less money, but good money, and then the ones that the book buying places weren't giving me much for, or weren't giving for at all, I sold those on eBay and Amazon for better money. But I went and I turned those instantly into like $300 when I sold them to the book buying places, and they were free. So it's the same kind of thing. It's not jewelry, but I could have held out and probably made, $600, $700, $800 on those books if I would have held out and sold them all. But then you got to store them, you got to ship them, you got to,
And you have to be careful too. There is some fake jewelry out there, and you will find it at yard sales. The sterling is going to be real usually, but like Tiffany, be really careful. There's probably more fake Tiffany out there than there is real Tiffany. I don't touch it anymore. I sell it to the guy and get silver scrap for it, and just move on. Or if it's a piece that Tristan likes, there's ways to identify it. It's not terribly difficult depending on the piece. But if you don't know what you're doing, it's a really good way to lose your account.
Yeah, you cannot take it into the Tiffany store anymore. They refuse to do an authenticity check.
And I know people that do that, that'll take stuff. I've heard of people doing that, or take your Coach purse into the Coach store. I just think that's kind of shitty. If I owned a Coach store, or I owned a Tiffany store, or not that people own those, but you know what I mean? Like if that was my business and I had people coming in on a regular basis going, is this real? I got it at a yard sale. I mean, that would kind of get old, and it would kind of cut into my, I don't know. I've never been one of those people to.
They should have a policy. If you walk in, we will look at your Tiffany ring. If it's real, we will authenticate it and give you a certificate. If it's not real, we're going to confiscate it for being fraudulent.
That's good.
That would definitely cut down on the amount of people bringing stuff to them, and it would have to be you'd have to be pretty sure it's real to risk that authentication type situation, or we're going to destroy it or mangle it so you can't sell it as Tiffany, and you can sell it as scrap at that point.
That's not a bad idea.
That's what I would do, but
and technically counterfeit goods should be confiscated.
Yep.
Miss Terminal 99 had a Louis Vuitton. It was a gorgeous bag. It actually had some age to it. I mean, and stuff. And he had it authenticated, and it turned out, I think he sent it off or maybe did a line. And he came back, it was fake. And he goes, you know what? He goes, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm not going to donate that again or put that back in the stream. And he went and started a big bonfire in his yard and burned the bag.
Yeah, this is what $50 looks like in the fire.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, that was funny.
The best thing to do is the only way to get the crap out of the system.
He paid like $50 for that bag, and
yeah, but sometimes and he'll write that off.
yeah. Yeah, at least now it's out of the system.
What are you talking shit about me?
What's up, Smelly Pirate Hooker? Where you been?
Looking for a damn purse.
Louis Vuitton.
I sold it, and Brandon found out it was in the garage.
Oh.
Where it's not supposed to be.
Uh-oh.
Put these over there. I'll deal with them next Friday.
I got my radio back.
You did?
The guy sent it retail for $35. He didn't print out my label.
That's good.
No, it ain't.
You don't have to give him that money back then.
Huh?
You're not required to give him that money back then.
I'm not.
No,
I don't know.
You provided him a label. He chose to ship it a different method.
Yeah, good. Anyways, I sent them the refund of what I was supposed to send them. And then it works just fine. Just like I told him, so it must have been buyer remorse. So when he throws a negative feedback up there like he said he's going to, he hasn't yet. I don't know, I'll have to try to see if I can fight it, but I'm sure I won't be able to.
What's he going to put a negative feedback up for?
He told me because I'm a liar.
Did you?
Yeah.
I always love that. You're a liar. I gave you your money back. I don't care. You're
Yeah.
still a liar.
And he told me I was a liar because he messaged me before he bought it. And he said, is there scratching? Is this, da, 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 da. So I already tested it before I listed it. But I went and grabbed the radio, and I did listen for exactly what he was talking about in his message. And I didn't hear any of it. Anyways, everything worked like he asked, and I said, yes, it works great. Then I sent it, he bought it, I sent it to him. He messaged me after he got it and told me I was a liar and that it works and that it doesn't work and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, great, here we go. So anyways, I told him ship it back. I give him a full refund. And because it's a $150 radio, most of the time if I only sell something for like $20, $30, I'll tell him to keep it and I'll write it off, you know. But anyways, I got it back and I was kind of concerned that he said it didn't work because I thought, oh, great, here we go, you know. But no, nothing. It's the same exact as I sent it. Works great. No scratching, no nothing. So I don't know. He must have tried it because the cord was in the battery compartment where I shipped it, but it didn't have the rubber band around it, so he used the cord. So I don't know. He must have just had buyer remorse or whatever. But that's all right. I'll just sell it again.
That's right.
So he was saying
No big deal.
it was scratchy when you turn the knobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it's not. But I'll have my husband just do some contact cleaner or whatever he does with it.
Yeah,
And
that's all it is. It just needs to be cleaned. I mean, you get old radios, they don't get used, and they get that
well,
gunk built on them.
when I listen, there is no scratching when you turn the knobs and stuff. But I'll have my husband just clean it just to be on the safe side, and yeah, works just fine. Sounds great. I actually thought of keeping it because I only paid $2 for it. You know,
I
but
just don't understand why somebody buys an old radio and does not expect it to have a little bit of scratchiness in the knobs.
oh, exactly. But you know,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I actually thought
Probably.
of keeping it because it sounded so good. But and I have a lot of cassette tapes, and I thought, well, this would be fun to keep, you know, in my little eBay building when I get it. But then I thought, well, it's worth $150. I can get myself a little cheaper one, you know. But
He probably just decided that, you know, after he bought it, that
yeah,
it probably wasn't a good purchase, and
yeah,
you know, he needed the money for something else. And
that's fine. I got it back. It's in good condition still, so the way I sent it to him, so I'm happy. And I haven't refunded him the $35 he used to ship back. I'm sure I'll hear about that. But
I wouldn't do that.
I ain't gonna
That's
do it.
not your
I ain't gonna do it unless eBay tells me I have to. But
Yeah, you provided a label. He chose not to use that label.
yeah, no, that's why I have automatic returns so they can print out the label. You know,
Yep.
so I don't have to pay all these stupid charges that other people. You know, because when somebody thinks, oh, they're paying the shipping, I'll put all the bells and whistles on it. You know.
I'm flipping through Craigslist. I come across this ad that says, "Go into junkyard, 96 4x4 Blazer, no reverse, $700." And like, so if I call you up and offer you $150, which is more than you're going to get at the junkyard, are you going to take it? Probably not. You'll be offended.
Yeah.
Yep.
I won a bunch of stuff on my auction too last night. I didn't get the mixing table I wanted, but I
How much did
bid
it
up
go?
to, I bid up to 125, and I had fallen asleep, and it went for 126.
You fell asleep at an auction?
No, not at it was that online auction I was bidding.
At $125, they were still taking $1 bid increments.
I can see Nikki on the back row of the auction, and they're like, she goes, "Yep."
I will admit that I have fallen asleep at an auction or two.
I have to.
When you get to some of these auctions that I went to one, it was a clock auction, and it literally started at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the clocks I wanted did not show up until about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I took a nap somewhere in between there.
I think the latest I've ever done was probably the antique auction we went to when we first moved to this house. We sold off all our like modern furniture and went back with antiques. And they only have it once a month, and it was getting good. And I think we ended up getting out of there and getting home at like 2:30 in the morning. But by that point, I'd had like 18 cups of coffee. I was so jacked up. You know, I'm not like, you got the jitters. Tristan's like, do not drink any more coffee. Don't drink any more coffee.
Well, I won 1, 2, 3, 4 of those paint colorant dispensers at $2 a piece. And then I got that national cash register.
Which kind was it? I remember you mentioned it yesterday. Was it a nicer, more ornate one, or what was it?
No, it's like 1950s, maybe 1960s.
But I only paid like $8 for it, so. And then I got a lot of stuff that had a phone in it that I wanted. And then I got those vintage manuals I paid $20 for.
You'll do all right.
Yeah. I spent a total of $44.
What were the manuals?
They were tractor manuals and automotive manuals. A whole bunch of them. About 6 or 8 of them. Or 10. Something like that.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice.
I'm pretty happy with what I got. The paint dispensers, I mean, I might have to hold on to them for a little while, but I'll make good money on. Well, so I'll really make good money on those because I got them at $2 a piece, and I'll get probably at least $100 off each one of them.
Very good.
Those big paint dispensers that you see in the paint stores.
Paint dispensers.
It's the tent dispenser.
Like the paint mixer where you put the gallon in and it shakes it?
No. It's the tenter where you have
tinting
like it's the big round tin where you put tents, and then you take your bases and you put your tents in it.
Right. That ought to bring good money.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I got. What did I say? 4 or 5 of those at $2 a piece. So I did pretty good, I think.
Are they the whole big unit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a little trouble picking those up.
Huh?
How
What'd you
many
say?
do you think you're going to be able to get in your van at a time?
Well, no, I got trailers.
Ah, okay.
Trailer? No, I'll just bring a trailer. My nephews are going to come and help me lift them because my husband works so during the pickup time. So my nephews are going to come and lift them for me. I definitely don't need them to lift that damn national cash register. I'm sure that thing's heavier than a son of a gun.
Oh yeah. It's not as heavy as the older ones, but they're not light.
Yeah.
When you sell it, you can drive it over to Jim's and he'll crate it for you.
Yeah.
I know Jim's listening right now.
My husband does that kind of stuff too for me.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Yep. And then I'll be like, well, do you really need to make it that nice? He's like, shut up. I'm doing it. Just shut up.
You want to do this yourself.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I get. You can do this yourself. Well, you know, you're adding a lot of weight there. You want it done right?
Gotta do
But
it
yeah, it always gets the base, so. I have to just not look at what he does. I'm kind of one of those helicopter parents, you know, kind of hover. So it looks like I might have to keep well, if I get my eBay building built, then I'll be able to take the stuff out of the garage. Then I'll be able to get rid of my storage unit and put them paint dispensers in there. My husband don't know yet, but.
He doesn't know you bought the paint dispensers?
No, he knows I bought the paint dispensers, but I'm thinking about the storage unit. You know, once I get my eBay building, I want to get rid of that storage unit. Well, I might have to keep the storage unit for a while if I don't get rid of those paint dispensers right away. But
Put those outside and throw a tarp over them.
I think they'll sell pretty fast. Well, we'll see.
How much do you pay for that storage unit a month?
Only $60.
And how big is it?
10 by 20.
The benefits of being out in the middle of nowhere.
How big is your storage unit, Jason?
Mine's 5 by 10, and I pay like 140.
Holy.
I don't have one. I probably should, but I don't. So.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking about not keeping the one I have because you can't have rummage sales there. But I was thinking about getting another one right on the main drag. Because right now, if I want to have a rummage sale, I have to load everything up on the trailer, take it to my dad's, set it all up there. And maybe I could keep a smaller storage unit, maybe one of the $40 or $50 storage units. And then I could just make that one a rummage sale and put it all back in when I'm done, you know.
No, that would be, if I could find a storage unit that would allow me to do something like that, I could do that for a couple of.
Then in a day when I'm sitting in town all day, I can sit there and list and have my stuff out and have a rummage sale and make money while I'm listing. You know, in the summer. So I thought of that too. You know, I'll go right to take all my auction stuff to the storage.
The biggest problem we have with here is most of our storage units are, you know, secured units behind fences, and you got to have a code to get in.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show for today. Hope everybody had a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. And
Tomorrow.
Anybody have anything to add?
Yes, Sally is a dirty, smelly pirate whore.
That's not nice, Dusty.
I didn't get to do my Anchorman quotes today.
So bad.
Is that why your husband runs around without a shirt on going, "Arg"?
You have bad hair.
You have bad hair.
That's my comeback to that.
So, Dusty, when you send me a link, how do you do that? Can you tell Valerie?
I'll screen share after it's over.
Oh,
Okay.
It's kind of on my email page.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't know how else to get there.
All right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Yes, Mr.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.